So how did you do on sections 3.1 through 3.3, solving linear equations? Try this one. I'll pause momentarily, but you can also pause your screen and try to get an answer on your own. Let's go ahead and solve this linear equation. I'm going to draw my line down the middle to separate the left-hand side and the right-hand side. Being organized is very important. I'm also going to circle like terms. This time I see some like terms on the left-hand side of the equation. Remember always to circle your like term with the sign in front. You can do 5x plus 6 or 6 plus 5x. It means the same thing. And remember, we want letters to one side and numbers to the other. And you can go either way, to the left or to the right. Since 5 is more than 3, I'm going to try and get this guy over here. I can do that by my idea of the inverses. I'm going to bring down my 6. 5 plus 3x is 8x. These guys disappear. That's the point of the inverses. And I'm left with 10 on the right-hand side. This time I want to get the positive 6 to the other side, so the inverse would be to subtract 6. Notice I don't put the 0, because 0 plus 8x would still be 8x. Since I see times by 8, I'm going to divide by 8. Remember, it's the same number. And remember that 4/8 is not yet reduced. So a proper answer would be 1/2 as a fraction, or 0.5 as a decimal. Remember that this final answer is called a solution. And you need to know that both of these answers mean the same thing. So you can use your calculator to check. We also can check our solution by plugging back in. Checking means wherever you see an x, you are now going to put that solution or answer that you had. Notice that I left spaces for our solution. You can either use 1/2 or 0.5. Here's where I got it from. 2 plus 5x, our solution, plus 4 equals 10 minus 3x, our solution. Let's go ahead and calculate that. 2 plus 5/2 plus 4. We could also say 2 plus 2.5 plus 4. Notice that I'm staying on the left side of the equation to get my final answer of 8.5. And I'm going to check if that's equal to the other side. 10 minus 3/2 is the same as 10 minus 1.5, which is 8.5, and so I know that it checks out, and I'm correct. Let's go back and check your important vocabulary in this section. Do you remember that an equation contains an equal sign? So just one side of an equation would not be called an equation, because this one side doesn't have an equal sign. These are expressions. Don't forget about your like terms. Remember, in the very beginning of the problem, we circled the 2 and the 4 because they are like terms. Like terms can either be constants, which are just numbers, or they can be terms that contain the same variable with the exact same power. In this section, we'll usually be just using the variable x and not a second or third or fourth power like you'll see in the future. And then I'm sure you're comfortable with the term inverses. Adding is the inverse of subtraction. Multiplication is the inverse of division. Remember, we always use the same number, just a different operation. And finally, your final answer is called the solution. And we can check the solution by plugging it back in. Good luck on your quiz and your test.